You know, right at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, nestled between these massive mountains, there's a nation that feels like it was forged in fire and wine. It's a land of ancient songs and modern ambition, of deep faith and this absolutely fierce independence. This is the story of a people who have stared down empires and simply refused to be erased. This is the story of Georgia.
So it really makes you wonder, right? How does a nation survive being the battleground for giants? I mean, think about it. Romans, Persians, Mongols, Ottomans, Russians. For millennia, they all marched through, leaving their mark. And yet, somehow, none of them could extinguish the Georgian spirit. It didn't just endure, it created a culture that's like nothing else on earth. The real question is, what's its secret?
Well, to really understand Georgia's resilience, we have to go way back. We have to look at its roots, deep in the Caucasian soil. Long before Rome or Persia were even a thing, a unique identity was growing here, and it was nourished by something ancient, sacred, and, well, liquid. Get this, 8,000 years. According to archaeologists, that's how long wine has been made in this land. That's longer than anywhere else on the planet. And for Georgians, this isn't just a beverage, it's a ritual. It's a pillar of life that has connected them to their ancestors and to each other for 80 centuries. Just incredible. They actually call their home Sakartvelio, the land of the Kartvelians. And that name, it's basically a declaration of uniqueness. Their language, it's not Slavic, not Turkic, not Persian. In this sea of empires, they are a cultural island, preserving a heritage that stands completely alone. Ancient kingdoms rose here, like Colchis, the legendary land of the Golden Fleece from Greek mythology. But maybe the most decisive moment for Georgia's future came in 337 AD. By adopting Christianity, they made a massive strategic choice to anchor themselves to the West. And that cultural and political allegiance would end up shaping their destiny for the next 2,000 years. And that anchor to the West, it set the stage for this dramatic rise and then a terrifying fall. For a brief, brilliant moment, Georgia wasn't just surviving, it was an empire. But the light from this golden age would soon be followed by a very long, very brutal darkness. Yeah, this was Georgia's golden age. Under these visionary monarchs like David the Builder and the legendary Queen Tamar, the kingdom was unified and incredibly powerful. For a little while, it wasn't the victim of empires, it was an empire, with its influence stretching all across the Caucasus. In this era, it wasn't just about military might. It was a true renaissance of philosophy, art, and literature. The peak of it all is immortalized in their national epic, The Knight in the Panther's Skin. It's a testament to a culture at the absolute height of its power and creativity. But, no golden age lasts forever. This one was shattered, first by the Mongols, then ravaged by the campaigns of Timur. And for centuries after that, Georgia was just carved up, a blood-soaked battleground for the Ottoman and Persian empires. The nation was blood-dry, its people just decimated. The Great Kingdom was gone. It shattered into this collection of fractured, warring states. The dream of unity just died, and all that was left was vulnerability and this desperate struggle for simple survival. So this weakness forced the fragmented Georgian kingdoms to look for help. They looked north to the expanding Russian Empire for a powerful Christian protector. They were hoping for an ally. But, as you can probably guess, this alliance would come at a terrible price. The promise was protection. The reality was a cage. The 1783 treaty was supposed to guarantee Georgia's autonomy under a powerful Christian ally. But Russia's promises? Totally hollow. Within just 2 decades, the treaty was violated, the monarchy was abolished, and the kingdom was absorbed. Georgia had simply traded one master for another. Fast forward to the 20th century, and they get this brief, tantalizing taste of freedom right after the Russian Revolution, only to have it brutally crushed by the Red Army's invasion. For the next 70 years, Georgia was locked inside the Soviet Union, its sovereignty, once again, just a distant memory. And here is one of history's darkest ironies. The Soviet Union's most ruthless ruler, Joseph Stalin, was an ethnic Georgian. Yet his brutal purges targeted his own homeland with a particular ferocity, executing thousands of its brightest minds and just gutting its cultural elite. But then, with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Georgia seized its chance for freedom again. The road ahead, though, was going to be anything but smooth. Independence brought a whole new set of painful struggles.
Freedom, when it finally came, was just chaos. The 1990s were a brutal baptism by fire. The country literally tore itself apart in a civil war. Russia-backed separatist conflicts ripped away its territory. The economy disintegrated. The dream of independence was fast becoming the nightmare of a failed state.
Then came a turning point. In 2003, the people took to the streets, holding roses in their hands. The peaceful Rose Revolution swept away a corrupt government, and it set Georgia on a radically new course, a path toward Europe, toward democracy, and toward reform.
And the results were just staggering. The new government launched this all-out war on corruption. They famously fired the entire traffic police force in a single day. They slashed bureaucracy, and in just 1 year, Georgia leaped nearly 100 places in the World Bank's rankings. The economy just started to boom.
But this pro-Western turn really soured relations with Russia, and it all came to a head in the War of 2008. After that conflict, Russia recognized the independence of Abkhazia and South Ossetia, and it continues to have a military presence there, territories that Georgia and most of the world consider to be under Russian occupation.
Which brings us right back to our original question. After all of this, the empires, the collapses, the occupations, how on earth has the Georgian identity endured? Well, the answer isn't in politics or armies. It's in the cultural DNA of the nation itself. The secret really lies in its cultural pillars, a unique language, written in its own beautiful ancient script, a tradition of complex polyphonic singing so profound its sound was literally sent into space on the Voyager Golden Record, an unshakable faith, and this sacred ritual of community, the supra.
The Georgian feast, or supra, is so much more than a meal. It's a living ritual led by this philosophical toastmaster called the tamada. Through these poetic toasts to peace, to ancestors, to guests, the supra just weaves the community together, passing down history, values, and the very soul of the nation from one generation to the next. Georgia's national motto really distills this entire story down into just 3 words. Strength is in unity. It's the core lesson they've learned through millennia of hardship, that for a small nation surrounded by giants, survival doesn't depend on walls or armies, but on the unbreakable bonds between its people. So today, Georgia once again stands at a crossroads, trying to navigate a complex world while fiercely guarding its ancient identity. Its story is this incredible testament to the enduring power of culture. The question now is, what will the land of wolves and wine write in its next 1,000 years?